Karl Lagerfeld wasn't just a designer or creative director. He was the brand. A face, a silhouette, a sharp tongue, a signature look. He didn't just create collections. He created a world people wanted to step into. He was working with some of the biggest brands. And I think, his time at Chanel that was his empowering moment. He turned that brand around for them. He'd worked with Fendi. He'd worked with Chloe, Chanel, really in these most amazing roles. So it would have been very easy for him to stay, right, and continue to work with these great brands, but he wanted to do something different, didn't he?
Definitely. I mean, he was doing all the three things at the same time. I mean, he was really a multi-hyphenate. He was a creative director, but he was also a photographer, publisher, interior designer. So he just has this endless creativity and also boundless curiosity that was driving him on. He was so curious about discovering new things, learning new things, and he always was kind of moving on to the next thing. So when he founded the Karl Lagerfeld brand, for him it was really about expressing his own identity versus, of course, at Fendi, Chanel, and some of the other fashion houses he was working for, he was reinventing the codes of their specific fashion houses. But the Karl Lagerfeld brand gave him the opportunity to really lean in on his own values and the foundation for what he was standing for.
And what was that? Because he wanted to do something different for a reason, didn't he? I guess some of the more luxury brands were quite inaccessible to the masses. They're very expensive. As beautiful as the brands are, they're not, not many people can afford to wear them day in, day out. So he had an aspiration to make something that was more accessible.
Exactly. So the vision for the Karl Lagerfeld brand, he actually called it Masstige, which is a mix of the words mass and prestige. So really bring that luxury inspiration in a more affordable way, to be more inclusive to a broader consumer base. And that's what we are doing. And I think that's also great because some of those luxury fashion houses can feel quite distant and they can feel that they belong to a lucky few, versus the Karl Lagerfeld brand is really something that everybody should be able to have access to.
Yeah. I'm going to go shopping online later, I think.
You should. I've been inspired today.
And so one of the things that I'm very, very, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not excited about, but passionate about, I guess, in my career and everything I do, is around, human-centered marketing and bringing things to life through people. Because at the end of the day, people tend to buy people over, we all need products and services, but most of the time people buy into people. Now, to me, it feels like Karl Lagerfeld is the epitome and is probably one of the first and only people in fashion to really, epitomize himself through his brand. Is that something that he did consciously, do you think? Was it a conscious choice for him to go, because, we all know the Karl Lagerfeld brand, the logo is Karl, he's so present in the branding. He's there, was that a purposeful decision, you think, that he made?
Well, definitely. I think the way he built his iconic look with the white ponytail, with the sunglasses, with the fingerless gloves. I mean, there was definitely a certain part that was like a consistent building of a very specific image that he has done in a very genius way, and then paired with a lot of authenticity. I think Karl has always been one to say what he was thinking. He was also sometimes saying slightly provocative things, or he was doing unexpected. He was very courageous and brave. He was doing things where people thought, how could this work? For example, he was the first designer to ever collaborate with H&M, which back in the day, now we find it completely normal and nobody looks up anymore. But back in the day, this was completely unheard of. He was the creative director of Chanel and people thought, what is going on? This is insane. This is crazy. How could he be doing that? And he really And then he surprised everyone. People were sleeping outside the H&M store. The collection was sold out within 30 minutes. So he has gone a lot of times also a little bit against the bets. And I think that's why people love him so much, because people, and I think in 2026 more than ever, are gravitating to authenticity, to people that are true to themselves and that they are in expressing themselves in an authentic way, rather than just being polished and doing whatever anyone else is expecting.
Yeah, I love that. And again, it's a good, a collaboration with H&M is another fantastic example of being accessible, right? That was clearly important to him, that, brands shouldn't be hidden away and untouchable. He's really made a mark in the industry with making luxury accessible for all, which is what there are fantastic brands doing that today. Like, handbag that I'm about to buy from D'Amelia, that it's not a £3,000-4,000 bag. It's, it's still expensive, but it's £400-500 or, £300 to £600 is the price range. So brands are doing that again. Like, I feel like there's like a real resurgence in that space, but back when he did it, it was quite a revolution.
It was a revolution, and it was really completely something that nobody has ever done, and nobody thought also could be done. I mean, it was really an experiment. Some people thought it will be a huge failure. That's what people were predicting, and then it was like the biggest success of fashion ever, that really brought like people into fashion that never actually thought they could be part of it, because it was too far away, and he invited them in and made them part of the story, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, he built a very strong personal brand from day one, and then built his business around that. Now, then something rather sad happened, I think around 6 years ago, if I'm right.
Almost seven.
You're nearly 7.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course, because we're in January.
We are in 2026.
2026.
Yeah.
He passed away. Yeah, in 2020, he passed.
2019.
2019 he passed. Yeah. What did that mean for you guys as a business, having this founder, someone who the brand is built around? Obviously, I'm guessing that was probably quite a shock, but also a lot to navigate as a brand, how you continue as Karl Lagerfeld without Karl.
It was obviously a very pivotal moment for the brand. It was also emotionally, of course, a very sad moment. What it meant, we had Karl Lagerfeld, the biggest icon of fashion, and then he was no longer there. But basically what happened immediately, and which was really beautiful to see, was this collective pride of taking Karl's legacy into the future from the entire team. And also today, because before he was creative director for Fendi, he was creative director for Chanel. But today, Karl Lagerfeld is the only fashion house that has his name on the door. And we really see ourselves as the sole custodians of his legacy, and making sure that his spirit lives on in the future. And at the same time, of course, we had to also prove to the world, because you have such an important figure that is leading your house, and then he is gone, and then everybody is looking like, is there still a reason for this brand to exist? But I think with all that pride and that immediately picking up kind of that legacy from the team, we could show the world immediately like that Karl was actually larger than life. He was larger than just a man, and that the story continues, and that there's so much creativity that we can pull from today. He gave us, with his curiosity, his being cultured, him being always onto the zeitgeist. We can take that into the future and continue to build on that foundation.